All right, welcome everyone to another awesome week of RGLgg Highlander. It is Steel Week. It's the last week of the season, and there are playoff implications galore. I hope you're ready for this one. My name is Voxday. Joining me in the co-casting booth is Zagron, and of course, behind the scenes, a creature with arrest warrants in 6 different states in the U.S. Please call if you see this man. It's Dolphin. Well, how are you doing tonight, Zag?
I'm doing good. It's my first cast in a while. Excited for this match. We got week 7, like you mentioned, a bunch of playoff implications. And this matchup between I'd Hate Mondays and Impostors will likely have a big hand in determining who gets that fourth and final playoff spot.
Yeah, we're gonna have so much to say about this, but just before we get started, I wanted to thank everyone who participated and donated and watched the fundraising event in Yams's honor this past weekend. It smashed the goals, and I think that's one of the best things about the community in TF2 is just how everyone's always willing to come together over a certain cause. So Eckstein wasn't able to join in for the cast this week, so I just kind of wanted to thank everyone on his behalf, as I'm sure he would have. And then just in keeping with last week, just want to do another short moment of silence for Yumps. Well, you had just been talking about it, but like this match between these two teams, there are a lot of playoff implications. Right now, I Hate Mondays is number 6, so they're a little far removed, but still have a chance to make it in. Meanwhile, for Impostors, they're in the number 4 spot, so it's kind of their playoff spot to lose in a way.
Yeah, like you mentioned, we do have I Hate Mondays in that 6th seed, but they're not out of the running because they have enough match points from their earlier wins in the season. Notably, their win over Krusty Krab was a bit of a funny one that still has them in the running at this point. They need outside help, although it is some very plausible outside help. They need Krusty Krab to sweep Order of the White Lotus in their steel match 2-0. That's likely going to be the case. So if we assume that I Hate Mondays has that help coming through, then all they have to do is win this match 2-0 without giving up a round to put them ahead of the teams ahead of them, which is going to be Owl and Impostors, like you mentioned, holding that spot. Impostors, they get around, they're pretty safe unless Order of the White Lotus pulls off the upset.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Owl, I think even they would need to 2-0 Krusty Krab if Imposters. Oh wait, I'm mixing things up. I think Imposters can win 2-1, but they'd only be out of the running if Owl somehow beat Krusty Krab 2-0. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a long shot, and things are looking good for this really to be the deciding match, given the likelihood of how Owl and Krusty Krab will go down. So I mean this is pretty big deal. And for I Hate Mondays too, they would need to win 2-0 like you mentioned. So 2-1 isn't gonna cut it. So I guess if you're Imposters, you're playing for that one round, play your hearts out, and maybe after that you can relax just a little bit.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned it quite yet, but we'll be playing CP Steel map where it's very common for rounds to go one way completely and then flip right after. Very chaotic map where strategies are very diverse and the teams can pull out a lot of things out of the hat and make really like a weird strange plays, a bunch of things we wouldn't normally expect. And if you're a team like Imposters who really is only looking for that one round, they probably have a whole plethora of ideas to get themselves across that finish line and get that playoff spot.
Yeah, I think Steel is so unique in the way it plays because there are so many different possibilities. You could just go A B C D E, or I guess more common you see teams just go A B C E and maybe grab D if they can along the way. You could just go straight from A to E. I would like to see something like that come out at one point, if I'm being totally honest. I think Steel definitely brings out the creative side of teams, and we'll definitely be able to see which team prepared more for this. Did I Hate Mondays come into this with the idea like, okay, well, we might win, we could get playoffs, but we're not gonna sweat too hard, or did they put in the work? Did they do the demo reviews? Because although Impostors, I think we were talking pregame, like pound for pound are the better team, but if I Hate Mondays maybe put in a lot more effort, a lot more work, they could sneak away with this one.
Yep, and when we mention those teams, we can real quick run down the rosters if we started to get the ready ups. With I Hate Mondays, we have RK on Scout, Telly on Soldier, Charizard on Pyro, KJR on Demoman, Chalk on Heavy, Shia on NG, TJ on Medic, Paige on Sniper, and Zero on Spy.
And for the Impostors, we're going to have Bonesaw on Scout, Wise on Soldier, Inquisition on Pyro, Flare on Demo, Tacos on Heavy, Starfruit on Engineer, Zoom on Medic, Michael PC1 on Sniper, and Dave on Spy.
And when we were talking in the pregame about which team should be favored in this matchup, we pointed out that Impostors are probably the favorites. They have a lot of the heavier, the bigger players on this end, a lot of the more recognizable names, and as well as the players who have more of the experience out on this invite squad coming forward. So a lot of their strong players like Michael PC1 on Sniper, Dave on Spy, Flare on Demo Man, we know him, we love him, and Wise on Soldier are a lot of players that can make a big impact here.
Yeah, I Hate Mondays, definitely maybe not as many household names, but from some of the matches that I've seen, maybe not a super sniper dominant map, but I've seen Paige pop off. Of course, like you mentioned, Michael PC1. There's a lot. It is a scary player to contend with. I've seen Zero put in some work, and of course Chalk. If anyone remembers Asheville Week, Sigafu and I were singing his praises. Unfortunately, I Hate Mondays. I Hate Mondays. Damn, did end up losing that match, but they put in a close run with Chalk on Heavy, and this is a combo centric sort of map. Flank comes into play too. I wouldn't be too shocked if Chalk goes huge.
Yeah, and Heavy is going to be one of the interesting classes here. His opponent is Tacos, and Heavy on Steel is interesting because you need to soak a lot of damage in your team's pushes, and a bad positioning will get you caught out in the first one killed. So if you're not able to be that rock for your team, you're going to find yourself losing positions very quickly. And I do trust Chalk at this point. He's one of the, I say older names. He's still a very new TF2 Highlander player in regards to the general scope, but Chalk is one of the players on this team I trust to be sort of a rock for them. Hopefully he'll be able to go up against Tacos and do very well in that matchup.
Yeah, I think it looks like Impostors will probably start out on defense, which in conventional wisdom would say is definitely the favored side to at least start on. So things might be looking pretty good for them in that way. I'm curious to see how I Hate Mondays will approach it from the get-go. Did mention the different ways that you can choose to cap on Steel. If I Hate Mondays are looking to maybe make their mark, they could just go right off the bat for AE. Not very conventional. Usually it's like a last-ditch effort sort of thing, but who knows? You have a lot of creativity when it's the first time you're going on offense. Do what you can to cut away from that kind of default advantage starting on defense gives you.
Yeah, and you mentioned we wonder if I Hate Mondays did some demo reviewing or anything. That's the thing that not a lot of Tier 2 Highlander teams do right now is demo reviewing, looking at your opponent's scrims and seeing exactly what they want to do. Steel is probably the map where that would give you the most advantage, period, of any of the Highlander maps that come into rotation. So if either team comes into this match thinking, okay, this is for playoffs potentially, we should really do our homework this time of all times, and we might see them come out with really good counter strats if they did do that. If not, we will probably just see the default Steel setup of like you mentioned, teams going A to E to A through E around the world as they call it, starting off cut through D sometimes, or we might see some of the more unorthodox pushes that A to E you mentioned you like seeing.
Yeah, and I hope I Hate Mondays, even if they didn't do full demo reviews, are really kind of thinking critically here in terms of their approach, because like we said, a lot of newer names, and this could go a long way into, well, if you make playoffs, it kind of helps you out down the line, whether this team sticks together or players are boosting their stock to maybe join some of the more formidable teams down the road. Like, getting that playoff spot could mean a lot more for you versus like, oh yeah, we had an okay season, we won 2 matches, one of them being against Krusty Krab.
Hey, we beat the eventual champion, potential champions. That means that we won.
Exactly, right? That means that they were the strongest team. You know, so there's a lot to be gained Friday Mondays here, but for me in my prediction, I know I saw a lot of them coming out in chat. I do want to say Imposters are going to win it, but I think it could be a 2-1. I wouldn't be surprised 2-0, but my heart is telling me let's at least make it a 2-1.
I'm going to go 2-0 for the Imposters, and for the reason will be, you mentioned critical thinking, and Steel, you need to be able to critically think with your entire team about what's the best push to make, what's the best position you can put your team in. And I trust Imposters at this point. Imposters, a few seasons ago, they were the new up-and-comers to high invite. Like these are guys who are coming in, they're doing really well, and they really just made a big splash. And at this point, we can trust them to understand the basics on how to play Highlander and really do Steel well. I hate Mondays. Like we mentioned, a lot of these players are a lot newer, less well-known names. If they can come out and show me some of the critical thinking that the up-and-coming Highlander teams have, then I'll be a lot more high on their stock coming into future seasons or even potentially playoffs if they do pull off that upset. But like that, we will be getting into the game right now. We've readied up. We'll be Imposters on the defense here and putting Crit Stickies on A.
Yeah, well, no big surprises right now with how the defense is going. Starfruit getting that level 3 going over on B. What you'll see is I Hate Mondays. Well, we'll have to jump quickly over to A because you can't cap. Technically you can cap E right off the bat, but it's basically impossible. So we're going to see them try to cap A, but Imposters are going to put all of their weight behind B since that's typically the way teams will push from A to B.
Yep, and we'll see this teleporter below the sort of cliff walk up. What that's for is once your heavy gets pushed out of that upper area, he can take it back up and try to retake control of it with his soldier jumping in. It can be very worth it for the spy to go for that early or for Demo Man to put 2 stickies on it in the first Uber exchange. But we will see just the startup normal right now. A lot of players rolling out to A for I Hate Monday is going to get this capture. Crit stickies about to get spotted out. Yep, Scout sees them. RK going to clear those out for his team, and A cap should be coming in shortly here.
Yeah, Dave was sitting there, I think maybe just a call the debt for Flare. But after that, maybe it looks like Dave is just going to spot a little bit longer, maybe see if they want to end up going for E, that we have those early rotations, and I think that's just a smart thing to do. Your spy is not going to be getting too much work done besides going back to the respawn room. But there might be a small attempt from I Hate Mondays, but the bulk of their attack looks to be going over towards B, and we'll see hopefully an Uber use coming out relatively soon.
Yeah, we got the players edging towards the upper area right now, but Zero will go down, try to cloak in, probably get that heavy or that teleporter. Like I mentioned, but he will get shut down. We want to pay attention to the Sniper v Sniper here, as Dave does backstab Shia, trying to move that level 3 sentry gun, that attacker gun into E. So another offensive move going badly for I Hate Mondays, but like I mentioned, we're going to need to look at this SVS in B main here. Paige going to get the first blood with Flare going down. Demoman going down is a pick you can push off of.
Yeah, that's huge. You're not stopped or stuffed anymore. Oh, wow, yeah, this might work out really well. The Uber does come in. Starfruit, he's wrangled the gun, but look at Inquisition. He does a really good job to keep the Uber back. The gun goes down, but really no more picks coming out from I Hate Mondays. They might still want to push off of this because of the couple players that are respawning. And this, I don't know, this could go either way.
It was a really nice denial from Inquisition to keep his team in that B defense. With your Demoman and Sniper go down, normally it's a lost cause, but they will secure that. On the other end, though, we do see a ×4 cap going on. Pain Train Soldier and Scout with a mini Sentry Engineer and a Teleporter. I don't believe has been put down quite yet, but this is a lot of pressure. They're going to have to rotate some people back. Dave going to try and get that gun down, does sap, but trades his life for it. Cap is temporarily stopped, though, so job done.
Yeah, interesting that she hasn't put a teleporter down. I mean, you lose nothing by just spending the 50 metal, and maybe you get lucky by a couple players been going out that way, but maybe that's just ultimately not their goal. Back over on the other side on B, a lot of ground has been taken by I Hate Mondays. They should be able to start putting time on the point, but right now Chalk is walking forward, and to his death as Michael PC1 gets a headshot. Yeah, Paige brings one out onto Flare. But the cap does start going down, and we're going to want to see more than just the ×1 with the Demo Man.
Ooh, Zero gets Zoomzy on the back out. Zoomzy barely had Uber 95% and gets dropped in that wishbone area. So that's going to be a really big advantage for I Hate Mondays to move off of. We are in a pause right now, but That was the most impactful moment of the match so far, and potentially one of the most in the match period. And
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna be paused off it.
I know. It's like, oh look at this huge pick. We're all excited. Oh, okay. Well, pause time. Yeah,
Pick was
well,
so big it broke the game.
yeah, exactly. Well, things are looking solid right now for I Hate Mondays. The play on E did work out. It reached its goal to pull away enough players of the imposters for I Hate Mondays to put enough pressure on B to. They haven't capped it yet. The
They'll
graphic
get
will
it for
still
sure.
move. Yeah, the graphic will still move. So people who are looking at the HUD, they haven't capped it yet. But will have done so shortly after the pause comes out. But they're in a decent position. Medic down 100% on TJ. They might be able to just grab C off of that alone.
Yeah, and this is a very commanding lead, like we mentioned. That full Uber advantage to work with on Steel can very easily snowball into a full map capture if you properly, put your players in the right position, protect your medic on counter sacks, and just get rolling fast. We do potentially know the cause of the pause. Some DDoS attempts going down in that final match or that final week of the regular season. So just TF2 things, honestly, at this point. But I do want to talk more about the situation we're in, a bit more in depth. About where the players are positioned. So we do see I Hate Mondays. They have everyone on B walking through. They know they have the med pick, so I guarantee once this gets capped up with the Pain Train Soldier, they're going to be looking to take Wishbone. And they have a lot of players in position to do it. Uh, right now, we see Michael PC1's and Wishbone, and he should get pinched here by Zero and the rest of I Hate Monday. So that's going to be a sniper, medic, and down. Pause is out, and that sniper pinch is coming in. Soldier as well, going to protect him, and he will get out alive. So that's big for Michael.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how this ends up going down. The point is starting to get capped.
No! TJ drops Uber to Dave's revolver right away. So, that whole thing we're talking about that big lead going into, yeah, forget it.
Yeah, that's huge bummer there. Well, now that I don't know exactly how you want to approach this now for I Hate Mondays. That's all their advantage gone, both literally and figuratively, as they're left to think, well, how do we crack C? There's the opportunity again to put pressure to E, but now that Starfruit has a level 3 gun overlooking it,
yeah, not gonna be viable.
Yeah.
They're gonna spam it out with some nice rockets, but they still can't go up there. Bonesaw and Y is gonna get shut down by the pick classes I Hate Monday, so a lot of room to push through right now. Wishbone's getting pressured. Neither team has Uber, so we're kind of at a neutral game state, but with the pick advantage in the favor of I Hate Mondays, they can move up.
Yeah, Flair's starting to spam some stickies in that little choke point. Might actually be able to do some work.
Pan telly.
Oh, always love to see the pan
Did
kills.
someone spawn the pit? What are we doing?
I don't know. Yeah, it looks like we've got another pause coming out. Hopefully those server issues will get sorted out relatively soon.
That last 10 seconds was so weird. Well, we are on pause immediately, and there's going to be a fight going through on Wishbone as the combo for Impostors trying to retake some ground here, trying to go under Wishbone. Didn't really work out, but they're going to be trying to jump in the top of it now, trying to contest the Devilman of I Hate Mondays right now.
Yeah, this can be a hard point to get into when you're on offense. You have two different ways, well, I guess three, because you can go upper or lower there, but a couple different ways to get in. But right now, Impostors are doing a great job just blocking everything out. As you mentioned, Wishbone had a lot of fights. Yeah, Tacos does go down. Okay, we've got a few picks now for I Hate Mondays. They do lose a couple right back after that.
Wise got spawn camped after getting backstabbed by the same spy, so he will be... His flank presence will be kind of erased for the past 30 seconds. We do have defensive stickies here on the other side of Wishbone, so Talk's going down is going to let them have some space, but they can't walk through just yet. They're going to look to put people onto E, but the mini sentry is being wrangled, and stickies can't quite hit it. Rocket can't quite hit it. Really nice positioning by Starfruit on that mini.
I kind of want
to heaven. Going to try to get some picks. Michael goes down.
We've got an Uber right now in Wishbone as well. Chalk getting the bulk of this for Blue, and it's a better Uber for Blue just off of the amount of time, or it was an earlier use rather, for Impostors, and this has given them position to get on C, and this was an offensive use by Impostors. So I Hate Mondays really do come out the better for it, and maybe not a great choice for Impostors to use that.
Yeah, Tacos and Inquisition both went down immediately. No Pyro, no Heavy. You can't really do anything on that defense. So C gonna get capped up for pretty free. E was being pressured and is still being pressured right now. So we're gonna try to jump. Wise having a fight with Telly. Wise gonna be winning that one. So E presence is gone, but a lot of players moving in. I feel like Paige should have heard that Dead Ringer, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. That will be moving back into Wishbone for I Hate Mondays. Forgoing the D push, gonna try to get into C once these bridges deploy.
Yeah, Ubers are even for the two teams, but 5:45 right now for I Hate Mondays for those first 3 points. If they kind of waffle in terms of do we want to go D, want to go E, this is not a bad time right now, but it would hinge on just having a fast end to it. Right now, it's Flare alone holding down D. He might get caught.
He's caught. This is. Oh, they're gonna pop the force and save him. They need to save him here. Counter coming in for Charizard. Zero gonna get toppled in the back end, so no Heavy on either side of the fight. It's just Pyros right now flaring each other, firing on each other, and it will be Charizard coming on the winning end of that one.
Oh, yeah, Dave was coming in right at the end, but RK turned around at just the right time, and these Ubers have not looked good for Impostors. I Hate Mondays have won almost, besides like the first
If they
one,
cap this before the spawns are up, 5 players from Impostors just came up and the spawn doors are closed, so they have to go the long way around. Right now, I Hate Mondays have the inside track onto E. They're going to take the Heaven area and get on point.
We need more players on point and not all 6 bodies going upper. I mean, either way, this looks really good for them, but you want to shave off as much time as possible. Zoom trying to connect with Flare, but that's such an awkward position for him. He's low on health. Dave goes into the pit, but we've only got 1 player capping right now.
Yeah, where's more
people? Let's get a little bit more.
Come on, I feel like TJ can be on the point. Your Heavy can be on the point. NG Wrangling Mini Sentry can be on the point. This point caps are times 5, so they need more time. They're gonna get some more time. Uber gonna get popped up. That's gonna take 2 people off the point, but the Pyro walking forward should be enough to deny the entry. Air Blast coming in. NG gonna get actually blasted off the point, and there's Charizard going down, but the time 6 was out in the cap. 8 minutes for 5 points. That's a bit below what you really want to set for your first attacking time on Steel, but still very defendable.
Yeah, for sure. I'm impressed with how the Uber trades have gone for I Hate Mondays. I know Impostors, kind of like what I mentioned, they haven't really used in the best positions, but it's still I Hate Mondays need to be able to execute on those mistakes made by Impostors. So really solid for them. We'll see pretty much a mirror match in terms of how I Hate Mondays will set up, so nothing too crazy. We'll see it in reverse, but maybe Impostors are going to choose to fight a different way. Maybe they will go for E, or we could just see the same thing go around the world.
Yep, and we will see default setup coming on right now for the I Hate Mondays defense. They have to hold for 8 minutes. The teleporter is a bit mispositioned for getting a Heavy or player back up there, so we'll see right now. Chalk gonna play on the ground next to his sniper, probably to check for spies. Going up behind Paige after all, who didn't hear that Dead Ringer decloak, so Inviswatch decloaks their suspect. Gonna have Chalk playing with him.
Well, Zero again keeping an eye
trap
on things. Oh wow, yeah, KJR got a couple players in it. Flare and Tacos, just 2 good players to find, slows things down just for a little bit. It's just the Engineer and Scout, though, currently on A, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a fast push over towards E. Bonesaw still just chilling over there, and at the same time, might see this Uber come out for
They're going to rush
Impostors.
Bonesaw here. They want to kill the Scout so he can't get anything done. They're rushing with 3 players, and Bonesaw is trying to juke around here. He's actually against Telly. He might win this 1v2 here against the Scout. Where's the spy to help him? Dave, come in here. And Bonesaw wins that, and he gets out scot-free, so great play by him.
Wait, look at where Wise
What did this Uber pop happen? Yeah. Uber popped for I Hate Mondays on B. Zoomzy is nowhere to be found, so there was no exchange. Michael P. Small also gets paged, so just like that, we're out of Uber, out of Sniper, and Soldier flank from behind. Wise gonna get that double rocket onto TJ, killing him in the gun. So just like that, everything's gone haywire for I Hate Mondays.
What I'm gonna guess happened is it must have been a sack in, and they forced the Uber out. Wise was able to get behind at that point, and yeah, just I Hate Mondays crumble after that. TJ does go down to the aforementioned Soldier, so really looking good for Impostors. Although their defense had some mistakes, it looks
Zero
like
needs
they
a
really
med drop
put in the
here.
work on
He
offense.
absolutely needs a med drop here. He gets sticky jumped on, but they didn't notice him. This Uber is going to need to get forced out from I Hate Mondays if they want any hope here, but Zero gets counter-espionage, actually, so they're holding Uber on C right now, using it to cap them perfectly fine here, but they are dropping players. Flare, Bonesaw, Taco's all going down, and they're just going to leave Inquisition on dry, and their meta gets sniped on the exit! The Impostors were not decisive enough! They just dropped everyone, decided, oh, we have the Uber advantage, we don't want to pop it, but you could have! They just dropped everyone and lost that advantage, and now they're going to get reset on.
Yeah, that's just a case of getting too greedy, you know, like, okay, well, we got a couple of picks, let's get on. And just like that, you start to second guess yourself, and Paige is going to hit a shot like that, and that really does reset things. It gives I Hate Mondays a second chance, because it really did look like everything was going the Impostors' way. And if they can stabilize I Hate Mondays, that is, they could stuff them on C, at least to shave a minute or two off the clock.
Yep, and we will see 100% Uber for I Hate Mondays defending the C with the bulk of their forces. 70% for Impostors rolling up in the Wishbone, trying to get some damage down. Telly gonna go down on the E point, but Flare gonna get stabbed by Zero, so that's gonna delay that push a bit. Level 3 is up on E, so really no chance for any players to start capping that early. Although we do see Starfruit gonna have a gun of his own walking Wishbone. Zero gets bombed out by Wise in his own heaven, so that's unfortunate. But we will see both medics with 100% Uber. We're gonna have to see what Impostors try to do here. They're leaning towards E a bit, and the gun's almost dead, trying to get saved, and does go down. So nice stickies to get that pre-fight takedown.
Yeah, I think you want to at least keep I Hate Mondays thinking this is a possibility.
God,
yeah, why Chalk is down there? I mean, yeah, he gets Flare. Actually, he's lucky that he gets him, because
they're building
it could delay a push.
If this gets all the way up, it's really dangerous for defending the point. This gun's gonna get set up, and they're gonna jump on E, so they're planning an ABE right now, Impostors.
Well, luckily, that gun, well, the gun for I Hate Mondays,
but NG jump over, Starfruit, and Uber taken in Wishbone. I Hate Mondays opting to take it into Impostors right now. It is a slightly worse Uber, so they're gonna have to get out first. Starfruit still capping up this point, and Wise defending the Heaven area. Demo Man gonna jump on it. Scout as well, so it's times 4. This is suddenly a really threatening push.
Yeah, that gun from Starfruit was everything, and I Hate Mondays doing the best that they could in that situation, thinking we got to get that gun down. But at this point, Impostors have locked
Flare
down
jumping over
all the different options.
If he stickies the spawn gates, Flare and Wise combined for 2 spam kills on KJR and Shaya. Zero gets Zoomsy, so at least no heals for Impostors, but this point's almost capped.
Yeah, this is looking really clean, and that's gonna be it. Just Impostors, as soon as they got some space, Starfruit's gun goes down, and after that they jump into the spawn and lock people completely out. Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow for I Hate Mondays. It really is.
Yeah, especially after that C push went so disastrously for Impostors. You know, I mentioned in pregame how, in terms of decision making and critical thinking, I trust Impostors way more. That recovery after making such a big blunder on C was really impressive, because they knew for a fact what they were going to do. They planned out their push. They're like, okay, we can just take control of Wishbone. We're not going to contest on it. Build up our gun, spam out the gun in Heaven, build ours, and jump on point. And that was their plan going through, and they executed it perfectly.
Well, taking a look at these logs, nothing really stands out too much. I mean, Flare and Wise top fragging, based on what we saw at the end there, that's not too surprising. They definitely put in a lot of work, but the kills were pretty much dead even, 59 and 60. And I think that speaks a lot to the fact that we did see mistakes from both sides. We did see some solid plays from both teams. But at the end of the day, it was the strategy and the team play from Impostors, with, of course, a little bit of individual performance as well. But I think that secured them a really, really solid cap time at the end there.
Yeah, definitely a nice recovery from the Impostors to get that 1-0 lead. And judging by whatever happens across the other match for playoff implications, that point could have just earned them the 4th spot guaranteed. So Impostors definitely going to be happy about that one, about how they solved their own problem in the middle of that round. And we will be moving to a new server, as the other one is experiencing some lag and pauses, as you did see on that cast. So we can talk about the logs a little bit. Personally, the kills being even, like you mentioned, is very telling. The teams, I feel like they fragged evenly. Their players, there wasn't really that many standout performers. Paige had a couple of really nice shots. There were a couple of really nice plays from the heavies, and as well, the Pyros did some good job, especially Inquisition had good denials. But really, it did come down to that whole mid-round decision-making on that C push. I Hate Mondays, they were content with doing a pretty standard push. They went around the world minus D, which is, fairly standard. and they captured in about average time, slightly below average time. Whereas Impostors, they were able to really make a decisive move and get that advanced time, give themselves the win, decisive win. I think they had like what 3 to 4 minutes left on the clock, so it wasn't really that close.
Yeah, about that, around that, and thinking about it too. Like, I mean, part of it might come down to that experience, or maybe just that um, I don't know, we're the better team mentality, because imposters are going to come out knowing that they're favored and maybe more willing to take risk, whereas I Hate Mondays might be a little bit more afraid, like, okay, well, we don't really want to go back for E. Let's just grab C. They did ultimately, I think, end up taking D, but like you might play it a little bit safer if you go in knowing that you're not the favored team because you don't want to make any mistakes. Whereas, imposters were willing to try something risky, knowing that it could have backfired, but trusted themselves and had that confidence to just go for it.
And looking a bit deeper, the stats, kills were the same, damage was about the same, deaths were about the same, obviously, meaning there weren't too many pit deaths. There were a couple. The one thing I did notice is that Zoomsies has 5 deaths right now, whereas TJ only has 2. And to be on the losing team when you're less than half the other medic's deaths, it really tells about how the greater team play is going. They're keeping their medic alive, but they're just not making the decisive plays that imposters are. And Zoomsy, he's died a lot. A lot of them were, as I say, a lot. Like a few of them were bonehead deaths where really just shouldn't have happened. Especially that one on C. I'm gonna keep bringing that
Right.
up because that was like a turning point of the match that very quickly stopped being a turning point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just shows that imposters, even when things don't go for like the right way for them, they're able to recover more effectively. And I Hate Mondays, and that's just their experience showing through.
Yeah, it's hard to think about, like, for I Hate Mondays. Well, where do they go coming forward? What do you take away from that? Because I feel like their defense, although they had the struggle there on B after we kind of missed it because we're looking at E, but I'm assuming Wise forced TJ or something like that. After that, they kind of did restabilize, and it looked like things were going well, and now you're in this mindset of, damn, we just kind of got bodied a little bit. How do we come back from this? What do we change? And maybe it is going to be like, maybe have to play a little bit more aggressive. Like, okay, yeah, you got forced. Let's sack everybody in. I mean, that's really risky if you're playing on defense, but maybe you need to play more aggressively or something like that, because it was really hard once that gun got set up. It just felt like there was no chance for I Hate Mondays at that point towards the end of it. So I don't know exactly what they need to change, but I guess aggression is one idea.
At this point, I would say that for I Hate Mondays, starting on defense is a good thing for them because now the expectations for imposters are going to be a lot more tempered. They're not going to be like, okay, well, we just catastrophically failed our C push. Let's go straight E. We want to end this thing. We want to make sure we don't get caught up on this point for too long. And when you're doing attacking for the first time, you're a lot more keen on just going safe, slow. We messed up one push. That's fine. We'll do it again. We practice this. Uh, or if imposters want to do the opposite, they could throw the knockout punch and go AE, which would be a lot more unexpected for I Hate Mondays. But it would have that caveat where if you fail it, you get put in the gutter early, have to make up all that lost time. So basically now the onus is on imposters to do something crazy, and I Hate Mondays can kind of sit back, do what they're used to, and they have seen this whole C setup right now. Hopefully, they have an idea about how to counter it if they do see it coming out again. And that's something I want to not necessarily see or hear because we can't, but something Zero needs to make sure he's doing is looking for that push to happen again. If you see that NG bowling level 3 in Wishbone and the team getting ready to push through it with a bomb from under, you can tell your team in advance this is going to happen. What are we doing to counter it? Do our normal counter setup, whatever that is, if they have one. If not, then I Hate Mondays. They need to figure something out.
Well, an interesting update, maybe two updates. One interesting, maybe one less so. Um, Owl took the first round against Krusty Krab. They capped all 5 points. Well, they went A, B, C, E, and 5:58 was the time on the logs. I'm pretty sure that includes the minute of setup. Whereas for Krusty Krab, they capped 4. They kept A, B, C, D, but weren't able to get E in time. So we're talking about playoff implications. The fact that Owl just took that one, really more pressure now on Impostors to try to close this out 2-0. The other small update is that MCM did take their first round, but against Squirt EA, I don't think that's too surprising. Definitely the favored team there.
If Krusty Krab ends up losing that match and Mancrush 2-0s, I'm pretty sure Mancrush gets first seed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that because they have the same record. Interesting.
Yeah, it's just the points difference, so we
Right.
don't exactly know the exact math coming in on that one, but that is something now to look out for, is now every playoff seed is potentially at risk here. Who knows, maybe even Impostors, they could do some magic, get something going. Hopefully they will just get the 2-0 though and close this out, secure their 4th seed. Even if Order of the White Lotus gets that victory, Impostors the 2-0, it just secures it for them. So
Yeah. As much as, I like the idea of things shaking up, Imposters have had a solid season. They've impressed me. I would like to see them in playoffs. Not that I'm taking favorites, of course. If I Hate Mondays come back, that would be an excellent storyline and a lot of fun. But for Imposters, it would be really cool to see this team in playoffs. Obviously, they'd have a tough match going up against the #1 seed, whether it's Krusty Krab or MCM, depending on
I think
how
they could
things
do it.
go.
Impostors have definitely
Yeah.
shown a lot of growth in Invite, and if they're able to stop making the mistakes they do on C and do more of the careful planning they do pushing E, then we might see a lot more of this team in the higher level matches. That said, we're going to be rolling out here. Impostors on that attack, like we mentioned. No crit stickies, nothing on A, gonna be getting those kills. Tacos goes down immediately, trying to push upper on B, and Telly gonna clean up Y as well. That's perfectly fine, it's just an entry pick. They're just feeding into people, trying to get something. Michael doesn't get a stab, Dave doesn't get a stab, whatever. That's just their sack.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see that how quickly they went for it, because maybe a team wouldn't be expecting all of a sudden 4 players. I love how Michael though ran up too. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hit this quick scope onto TJ.
If he does it, he's a legend.
Oh yeah,
So
that
always
goes
go for
down
that.
in his
Do the Watterson.
the Max, man.
So I want to talk about this right now. We do see the AE, like I mentioned, the
Oh!
Impostors going for the knockout punch right away. We got Flare jumping in the wishbone. Inquisition gonna get Ubered on, trying to airblast this demo in the choke, and they got him. They're stuck in the choke right now. I Hate Mondays can't get out, points getting captured, but presence from the door gonna get kills. Page and Shock cleaning up from that spawn gate, and Starfruit and Zoomzy going down as well to spam. So the knockout punch was attempted, but the response was even cleaner.
Yeah, it's that really, really good attempt from Imposters. It looked in the beginning like, oh wow, this could actually happen, but Chalk from the door, he is a very solid heavy, and he was putting a lot of damage. Of course, not the only one. A few more players on I Hate Mondays getting involved, but hats off for the attempt, and now we'll probably see something a little bit more
I
conventional.
knew they could try something like that. That's totally something Impostors would try to do, is just go for that knockout right there. But we will be setting up a bit more normally now. Scout right now pressuring E alone. Telly gonna fight him off, so just a bit of back pressure. As the main push comes in, Flare upper does take care of Chalk, so that heavy going down early. He needs to get back and get healed though.
Well, on the other side, we just have a little bit tickling the point. Bonesaw, Wise is over that way, but it looks like the main fight is still going to be
does
happening.
Get the stab. Does get the sap though, and the sap does make the gun go down. Page gonna snipe down Tacos on the
Flare's in! Flare got TJ, actually. That is a great bomb. I don't think it was a drop. He was still building. But this, I don't know. I feel like if you're Impostors, you want to go with these respawns and maybe not necessarily wait for Zoom to get the Uber.
Yeah, they definitely have positioning to do. Telly and Charizard right now are the only forward people. That gun's gonna get built up, and if that gets successfully built, it's good. But Zero does get Zoomzy on the back end, got him off of that spawn. So that's gonna be the counter medic kill coming in. Flare bombing in to try to get a kill of his own. Dave decloaking, doesn't quite find it. And the counter sack is not successful. So now I Hate Mondays. They're posted on here with a level 3 gun and medic advantage.
Yeah, they're a little bit more passive than, you want to be generally for the steel hold, but they still have plenty of opportunity. Oh,
gotta get that sniper out of upper, otherwise that's gonna happen. Gun goes down, and I Hate Mondays will cede this point despite the Uber advantage. So a bit of an interesting play from both teams. In the end, you got a bit extra time off of the B hold, so that's fine. It's not really made or broken yet for either team, as we just see the Wishbone setup going to come out. Sniper heavy demo all posted here. Bonesaw does have the opposing heaven, going to run in but get 2-shot by RK. Going to get that control back. Dave right now near Telly, going to try for that stab. Ooh, jumps so airport can get it. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, the fast rotate out for I Hate Mondays as well. Yeah, they do lose the NG, but they keep everyone else up, gives them that opportunity to hold hold C and hold from this wishbone. Chalk, I always like that he's a little bit removed from the rest of the combo, but that's just the way he plays, and it's always pretty successful. So we'll see if the flank Pootis can get anything done as the rest of the team hangs out over
He's going to be the
wishbone.
first one taking contact, because we do see the combo for Impostors going over Clip. It's not expected, and they do drop Charizard to the backstab off that. Chalk is separated, going to get singled out by Tacos here, but Tacos can't quite find the kill. Chalk getting out. Uber is advantageous, though, for Impostors as they're going to get onto this point. TJ has no escape, and that surprise drop down from Cliff was not called.
Well, Chalk also continued to walk forward. He got a couple of kills. I was looking at that thinking this could be a huge play. He did go down, and yeah, meanwhile, while I'm paying attention to that, you were checking out what happened on C, and well, Impostors are going to grab that, and a flare is immediately in. He wants to take down this gun with Wise, and this could be a repeat of the last round.
Yeah, it's going exactly the same. Their gun isn't set up yet, but they do have all the players in place as the bridges are extending. I Hate Monday's trying to contest Heaven. Charizard versus Wise up in that lunchbox and going to get that reflect kill. So at least they have control there. That's going to make this a lot easier to retake this ground.
Still a tough position because they're waiting for their players to try to get in, and it gives Impostors a little bit more time.
They got Michael PC as well, so no sniper going to be here. Dave gets caught up before he can counter sniper kill, and that's going to be 2 kills in the advantage for I Hate Mondays, as well as the sentry gun not being set up and haven't held. So this push is dead in the water, really, for Impostors. They got to back off this. They have no ground.
I think they're still finding frags somehow.
How are they finding frags? This makes no sense, but they're going to get in there. Chalk getting 2. Wise and Tacos going down. Lunchbox is still held up here by the Heavy and Soldier. Chalk going to get decloaked on by Dave, but he gets in. Uber solo onto Telly. They bought a lot of time, and the point isn't really that much capped up yet, so there's a lot of room for I Hate Mondays to get out here, but they're jumping the spawn gates right now. Impostors trying to get that spam in. We do see Flare and Wise going to combine for that spam again, and now they have control of the gates. So what's going to happen here for I Hate Mondays?
They have Uber, but they gotta go
they have
so
to get
fast.
out of this Uber.
Oh man, going the long way around is so scary, but maybe if they win this fight...
Oh, air blast off! There's 3 in the pit right now. Charizard and Inquisition, more falling.
They gotta get zoomed down. Oh, they picked
Chalk
up
right
zoom.
now getting tanked.
That is huge. This worked out. They just got to make sure they drain all of this tap time off the point. Wise is still there being a nuisance, but KJR went in.
Air pipe. Oh, they trade kills. That's unfortunate for the demo man of the defense, as the spawn's going to be longer, but Chalk's still getting tanked in this wishbone. They got to be careful, though. They're getting wrapped from 2 sides. Dave going to decloak, doesn't find the stab he wants, and they will keep their medic and Heavy alive for now. Charizard on the point on the front end right now doing a lot of work. He was a big part of why the point didn't get capped up in the first place. Gonna get a kill in this connector onto Dave as well as onto Inquisition. The trade is Chalk, though. 70% Uber for the defense as the E is finally almost all uncapped.
Alright, I gotta take a beat for a second here because there's just been so much chaos right now. Impostors, though, still seem to have pulled ahead with the advantage because Bonesaw is capping D.
The time's gonna be a lot better, though.
Yeah, for sure. Shia had some trouble there, and it gave a lot of space over on E yet again for the Impostors to get in. We do have the Uber. KJR just getting out
the sniper. They got the Pyro. Pyro's almost dead in position, gonna get flared down on that side. But Spy is in. Dave gonna get Chalk and Charizard, so 2 kills for him. Gonna give the defense a lot of space. Also helps get that kill onto RK. So now it's only 3 up for I Hate Mondays. They have to run in here. Telly on the side as well as Dave. Dave gonna get Zunzi again. So no medic still, but it might not matter at this point. Paige, the last player left on the bomb, I almost said bomb site, on the control point, gonna clean up easily. And that will be full control of E held. The D is captured, so the spawn gates are closed, and this should be the round for Impostors.
Honestly, a good effort for My Hate Mondays. That felt like it should have been over a long time ago, but it just... Good. Yeah, so this is doable for I Hate Mondays. We'll obviously need to see something better than last time, than their last attempt, but there was so much chaos there. It looked like Impostors had it, and then that Uber, it took so long to get there on the long rotation, but KJR was able to get in, take down Zoom, and Chalk and the rest of the players did work elsewhere over an E, but it's just a long sustained battle when you're on the defensive side. Those respawns are just going to take a little bit longer, which means over time you'll expect the offense to eventually wear you down.
It honestly makes the 7.5 minute time even more impressive for my Hate Mondays because very early they were wiped off the point. I want to watch that fight back where Impostors, they had absolutely no ground in DE whatsoever, but they still got a bunch of kills. And I really just don't know how that happened, but either way, that time essentially got rescinded. 7.5 minutes is the time for I Hate Mondays to push, and they will want to do that to get their round in.
Well, maybe knowing that you have 7.5 minutes, you can play a little bit more loose. You can play a little bit more loose, I guess, if you're I Hate Mondays. Like, okay, you take E, but at a certain point, you're just like, screw it, we're gonna go all in for E, and this either works or it doesn't, but at least you have everybody on a concerted effort to do one thing versus like, let's go B, no, let's go E, no, let's go B, and really can kind of focus fire. But we've got a long way to go, at least 6.5 minutes before we maybe get to that point.
Shaya's actually got a mini sentry instead of a level 3, which is quite unusual. We almost always see the engineers opt for level 3 because they do get that free setup time to build it. Paige gonna win the SBS onto Michael PC1 in B main, even though they lose RK for it. That sniper advantage is gonna be huge in getting them into the point. Once RK is back, they'll be able to pressure from both sides as the push into upper is gonna come out soon. Banner is popped in response from Impostors. Well, we're gonna get 2 kills off it. RK and KJ are going down, so that will buy them enough time to get their sniper back.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We've got the time, or sorry, we've got capture going on over on E. Maybe to pull a player or get people thinking that way.
Wins that. Bonesaw gonna win the 1v2. Good enough. He helped that kill on Dave and Bones and Tally, excuse me. So that will be a 2-for-2 in the end. I Hate Mondays going down a bit. But their scouts still left capping, so they have to do a bit more work on this defense.
Meanwhile, on B, though, the Ubers did get traded. It's really working out for Impostors. It was kind of back and forth in the beginning, but just at the end there, putting in the work, getting the damage down. Good job for Impostors to kind of stave off that push. Despite the fact that they had to contend with E a little bit as well. But now with the Ubers used, this could give some ground for I Hate Mondays to get in. Maybe you find a pick. The gun's only back at level 1, and really you can put some pressure. Well, level 2 as I speak.
Dave out with the Ambassador actually got a headshot kill onto the scout of the RK, so took him down on that E capture. Gonna have to run all the way around to get started again. Another conch is out for Y, so he's been doing a great job keeping up this defensive conch for really hard to push into as it provides the defensive team so much more sustained. And they're gonna get popped up and around right now. A lot of players on low health. TJ taking a rocket. Gonna have to get those heals. Zero finally finds Michael PC1 and a sap, but that sap's not gonna get capitalized on. Gun stays up.
I wonder, I don't know. I feel like maybe if you're Zero, maybe he found his opening, he wanted to go for it, but otherwise,
I Hate Mondays are rotating AE. They're going for all the way around AE, and there's no spy to call this yet because Dave was down. He will finally see this coming in from the D area. Gets killed, but Zoomzy gonna get dropped by Zero on the back end. So now not only do they have a full Uber advantage, they're also positioned on E. They're getting people into the wishbone area. Demoman right now, KJR is sticking off the front shutter, and Paige is on the back when he needs help. Heavy gonna come in to help him hold this in shock. And right now they have this whole area locked down.
This is going to be really hard for I Hate Mondays, but they've got the times for about halfway cap. This Uber was used a little bit too early.
No stickies to spam the point. That's so big right now. Is KJR going to find that spawn camp, and this times 4 can't be stopped.
It's a 10-second respawn. KJR is still blocking off that door. Paige finds another headshot. They can't stop
Keep your scout up, keep your scout up. Your scout's so low, and he got the cap. That's it. The A to E. A-B-E, rather. Or they didn't even cap B. No, it was just A to E.
Oh my god. Oh, so I'm gonna take a second to look. So Owl won a round, and now we're tied up 1-1. Like this could mean Owl technically, I think, now has a chance to make playoffs as well.
They have to win though. They gotta win.
Oh my god, this is.
Hold on, if they win if Owl win 2-1 and. Hold on, no, because Owl's already a win ahead of I Hate Monday. So if Owl win, they get it no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. So the way
actually, no, that's not true. Because if Impostors win 2-1 and Owl win 2-1, then Impostors are higher in match points. So Owl need Impostors to win. If Owl want a chance at playoffs, they need I Hate Mondays to pull off one more.
Yeah, and if I Hate Mondays end up.
If they 2-1 and then Owl lose 1-2, does I Hate Mondays make playoffs at that point?
Let's see. Well, Owl, they would both be 3 and 4. I think
Yeah, do on match
I
points.
Hate Mondays needed to win 2-0 to make it in. I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, I closed the document that I had working earlier that I had all this written out.
So how many match points do you get for a 1-2 loss?
You get 1 point if you lose.
And if you win, you get 2?
You take 1. If you win, you get 2 in a 2-1. Yeah.
Okay, so if I Hate Mondays win, then they get 9.65, but Order of the White Lotus already has 10. So yeah, I Hate Mondays can't make playoffs anymore because Al took that one game or that one round. So right now, I Hate Mondays. They're playing to be spoilers for Impostors. Is really what it is.
Damn, that is brutal. There's no update yet on the match between Owl and Krusty Krab. That is still in its second half. There's no log uploaded just yet. So wow, this is crazy. This is really
overtime, week 7 overtime. Yeah. Everything mattering at this point. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that round because I mean, I Hate Mondays, it just took a round, you know? We hoped they would. We'd hoped they'd put up a fight here, and they've certainly put one up with that A to E performance. Really, it's just really good performance on the actual rotation. The way they did the rotation from B was interesting because from the very start they popped that banner. From the beginning of that play, right? They popped the banner from Wise. I mentioned they popped the banner from Wise, and then as soon as that banner was popped out, they backed up, just think, oh, we're gonna cut out the banner, then push back in. But no, they just beelined it all the way to AE. And Dave, he wasn't quite in position to see that. He was running in through D when the combo was running in, and then he got killed. He called it a bit late. He couldn't see it in time. And then the spawn door got stickied off. Their sniper and heavy got into Wishbone, and from that point, it was just over.
Yeah, it was a good job blocking in. Everything just went well. I think right away after Zero got the kill on Zoom, Telly was already in Wishbone just to create some space too as the rest of the team was rotating in. I don't even know if he got a kill, but just the fact that he gives them some pause when they want to go through a Wishbone, and then after that, everyone's able to get set up. They're kind of lucky. I Hate Mondays had a bad Uber. I think they thought more were going to be coming over towards Wishbone, but I think at that point they just had so many players in the right position. Flare was down, 12-second respawn, and KJR kept sticking the door. Just a really excellent job. And I wonder if Impostors right now are running the calculations themselves, are like, wait, what do we need to do? Do we need to win? I mean, obviously they need to, they're going to want to win. But they could just be running the permutations as we do finally get into this final and overtime half.
The anticlimactic thing would be if I Hate Mondays wins, and then we find out that Order of the Lotus didn't complete their upset, in which case the standings don't change at all.
Yeah, I think it will still come down to Owl trying to win 2-0. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's gonna need to be what happens for Owl to have a chance.
If Impostors lose this last round, then Owl just needs to win because they'd have a higher record because they're tied at 3-3 right now, both teams.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I missed that. So
all Owl needs to do is win, and all I Hate Mondays needs to do is win for this scenario to be swapped here. Otherwise, nothing changes.
We say all they need to do, but
all they need to do is beat the number 1 team.
Exactly. Yeah. Just be. I mean, look, they took a round. I think I saw someone mention they had 11 minutes after 3 in their second half. I don't know if that was a capture or it was just taking them forever, but either way, Krusty Krab has a lot on the shoulders. Well, let's focus on this game.
Get back into
I'm
this
telling
game.
myself, really, because I'm going to talk all day. Right now,
I Hate Mondays back on the attack. Yeah, I Hate Mondays back on the attack. They have to do that again. Their ADE will be known by Impostors. We'll have to see what the response is to any of that potential. Page going to start up with a snipe onto Wise. So that means that Wise can't build his conch as early as he did before, which could be big in the impending Uber trade. But wait a minute, we do see all the players going through drop down right now, trying to go fast. Normally this is a disaster if your pyro can just air blast it. It's going to be in there, but it's going to be a bit late. Players are outshot, going to get dropped on the initial push though. Charizard coming in, Zero going to get Starfruit, Sap coming through as well. So really all that happened was they traded Uber and got the gun. So I guess that's technically a win for Hate Mondays.
Yeah, it's a different approach. That's the best I can say. Like you said, it's not really common. Like, you might see it happen if you're a little bit desperate, but either way, it doesn't look like Impostors were expecting it, and it goes just about as well as all their other Uber pushes into B. But now they've got the ground, they've got high ground. Tacos goes down, Chalk wins that fight. Have we made a Choco Taco pun yet? If so, I should try to force one at some point.
I will not be doing that, but we will have the push in from I Hate Mondays coming in through B main. All the players are wiped off the point right now. Michael PC1 trying to escape with his life, does barely get out. Starfruit's gun gonna build, but he's gonna have to quickly abandon that one, and the cap is out right now. B is going to be fully taken by Hate Mondays. They just got to get on that point. And meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the E push for the flank has been successful as they hold Wishbone with their Sniper, NG, and Soldier. Not Wishbone, Heaven, excuse me. They're going to get Michael PC1 on that snipe. Spy in, trying to get him. Protect your sniper. There we go. Telly going to take down Dave. Page going to rail off into one onto Starfruit. So Engineer down as well. This is a lot of ground in for I Hate Mondays. They're going to get B captured with that ×2, and they still have Heaven control.
Yeah, and so this is opportunity for them to continue to put pressure on E. So they're going to be forced, or Impostors are going to be forced to keep some players there. And C is actually open. RK finds the kill onto Inquisition. So they're setting a really nice time. A lot of players for Impostors down, which means C is probably captured because there's no way they're going to be able to come in, especially with Zoom still on a 4 more seconds on the respawn.
Yeah, I really like the play of going C there because you know there's a lot of force on E. They're going to have to send players there to clean it up. So C is essentially free, and C is a really big point because now you can cross point normally and no longer the AE risk of falling into the pit. And they will get that captain for pretty free in 2.5 minutes. So pretty blazing time being set right now for the full round the world push. They're going to put people through Death Hallway right now. Going to drop onto this D side point. Zero going to find Inquisition, and Zoomsy getting dropped by RK in the lobby crunch right now. Flank coming in with the combo, Death Hallway and lobby pushes at the same time, and Pyro, Demo, Medic all down for Impostors. They can't really defend this at all. Tacos needs to not die here, otherwise he gets put on a massive respawn timer. Gonna reset Bind as D gets captured, so the spawn gates are closed. This is a blazing pace.
Yeah, Impostors are really doing everything in their power to make it as difficult as possible for them to make playoffs. Well, we've got D captured. I Hate Mondays look like they want to go all the way back around to lobby to approach E. But we do have most everyone besides Starfruit, which is the NG, for Impostors ready to defend. TJ has 100%.
PC's posted on this angle. He found Page and KJR. This is not the push you want to do if the defensive team is posted in Heaven and Wishbone. You're just a sitting duck at this point, so they got to get back together. RK gonna find Dave, so no sniper or spy threat coming out, as SVS is going to be everything here. Combo gonna rotate back to D. They're gonna try the more conventional push from D in to try to get these Heaven players dislodged.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough position right now for TJ. I'm in favor of the early use. They go for it. Michael is still up, and he can be a nuisance, but Charizard's going to take him out. Chalk drops down lower. He takes down a player.
This is a strong position.
Picks going.
Chalk is in front of the door. KJR is spamming the one entrance, and now they have full control of the E point. But Chalk gonna get dropped, not enough heals coming in. Tacos is the trade. Charizard getting stabbed as well. Shy gonna clean up that spy on the back end, and Uber is in here from Inquisition, and the Imposter is gonna get a lot of space help as the point gets cleared. Power walking into the face of the enemies right now. Gonna get a lot of damage down, being juggled around. He's being left alone with the sniper, but that will just be him trapped behind. Reset coming in, and the teleporter in for the side of I Hate Monday is gonna give them a lot of spawn advantage.
RK is on a 9K right now. He has been amazing so far through this. The picks that he's found, he was the one that opened up C. He's the one that got the pick onto
Zero's on a 5 as
Zoom
well himself. He's standing in this Wishbone. Spawn camp who comes through rushing to defend the point, because I mean, what are they going to look at? Scout in, going to backstep Page, whatever. This point is almost gone. Pretty solid round. No one's even close to deny it. And that's going to be a blazing time for I Hate Mondays. 5
Under
minutes.
5,
Fastest time we've seen tonight.
That's beautiful. Just at a certain point, you know, again, when they're in defense, half of the players went down for Impostors, and I looked at the respawn times, 12 seconds, 12 seconds, 12 seconds, and you don't have a quick way in because those D doors close. So you're on a 12-second respawn, have to take a long way to get in, and just good job from I Hate Mondays. They keep the pressure up, and really, I've seen the standout performances. We've talked Zero all night. We've talked Chalk, and then RK coming in, going huge as well. So really, I Hate Mondays. A lot of players. You know, we kind of mentioned that maybe some newer names or names people aren't as familiar with. If you're watching this, might be players to look out for, maybe players to pick up on your team, you know. Vox Day, player agent.
shout out to Charizard as well in that round. Did a lot of good work making space for his team. Sure, like a lot of the points might have been extinguished points, but if your Pyro stays alive and makes space, that's all you really need him to do. And a lot of space they did get. 5-minute time right now. Impostors need to push this if they want to guarantee their spot in playoffs. Uber, or just their normal sack play coming out, nothing too special. Taco's dying early. Surely they know their spy's gonna be taking this teleporter behind. Yeah, Shock's ready for it, immediately shredded, and normal play, basic coming out.
Well, the tough thing for Impostors is you can't really rely on a normal push. I think you have one attempt to go for B, and if you aren't successful, I think it pretty much gets to the point where you've got to try to split your attention and go A, E.
Ooh, Chalk.
But Chalk,
getting Tacos and Wise in the upper defense. Even though he goes down, that's going to buy him a lot of time. Telly, though, not going to let him get back up there. Michael winning that SVS, I feel like it's the first one in a while. Onto Page, gonna give them a lot of room to walk forward. Dave in here, gonna go for the decloak. If he gets the drop here, it could be big. Oh, Medic turns around just in time. Dave missing that timing, unfortunate.
Well, in that kind of like cluster, maybe we'll see Impostors take more ground. They do have upper. Good job from Wise. He spams down the gun. But a couple picks do go back in the favor for I Hate Mondays, although the ground is being taken for Impostors. We'll see if they're able to keep the pressure up.
Michael isn't here and the gun's still building. They're going to Uber in, try and get that damage off. Zoomzy gonna be forced as well in the backline at 20% advantage. He got forced a lot earlier, used a lot earlier, excuse me. So that's gonna be a forward position being taken by Hate Mondays. Demo jumping up. If Dave can get this pick onto Demo, he will. KJR going down, and that's gonna be a big piece missing from this defense. They're getting their gun built. It's level 2, but they're gonna have to back up and give this ground up again.
Well, we had a little bit on E, but immediately taken out was Bonesaw. That's a lot of pressure to be on the shoulder of your scout.
I like this move. Take
Mondays,
your gun,
yeah.
get your players out. You have 3 minutes left. You've already wiped 2 minutes off the clock with this B-hold.
Yeah, there's no reason to get greedy, get wiped, or something like that. We do have an interesting spot for the gun right now. Maybe Starford's going to move it with Rescue Ranger it out kind of quickly if it gets pressured. But under 3 minutes, still doable, of course, for Impostors. But this is not an easy position to be in.
Yep. Impostors gonna have Uber gonna try to walk through this. Chalk gonna be the sacrificial lamb, letting them know they're close by. It does go down for no force though, so a lot of chaos coming in. 95% for TJ. What are I Hate Mondays gonna do with this Uber? Are they gonna pop to try to defend C, or are they just gonna want to trade and leave? Right now, Impostors not overstepping their bounds, gonna hang out in Wishbone for now. Bonesaw getting taken down. RK already on another 3K so far. Wise gonna jump on the point here. They might be doing their AE push, but Zero gonna drop Zoomzy again. It feels like the 4th time this match. They're gonna get dropped by the Spy, and free Uber push into Wishbone. They're gonna try to wipe Impostors off the face of the map right now and get this position back.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Zero is just going absolutely massive, and that really could be the death knell. We might look back at that to be the last real attempt that Impostors could have made, but Bonesaw, he does find 2. Maybe if he can go on a little spree, there are a couple players down. We do need more players, of course, from Impostors to step up. Yeah, KJR2, that's the demo. And if Shia goes down somehow, if Michael can get the shot and they can get the gun, a minute and a half.
Here's what we have to talk about. The minimum cap time on Steel is 30 seconds with a times 5, 45 with a times 3. At least that's what I remember from what Alta tells me every time we cast this. But this will be only 30 seconds of a window, really, for Impostors get on this point. They don't have a bunch of classes that can jump on there. It's just Pyro capping right now. Inquisition by himself. They need more. They need more. Even if they get this spawn camp going, they have lobby control. They're going to have to force this Uber out, but they need more cap time.
Bonesaw gets on. We got times 3 now. An Uber gets used in lobby. It's used very early, but everyone's got to get off point now because of that. 58 seconds. We're going to have to keep a close eye on the clock. Impostors need to definitely keep the pressure up, but they need players on the point. Inquisition and Bones are on, and they must know the timings.
Times 3, and it's 45 seconds. They need another player on the point. They need one more, and the scout's gonna go down. Bonesaw going down means it's over. They don't have enough people to jump onto this point. If this gets reverted by the time 30 seconds drops, then it's hopeless. Uber's gonna run out, and the defense is getting reset. No one's on the point. No one's even close for Impostors. Player gonna try to spam in, but the point time is receding, and we're below the 30-second mark. This is almost impossible. This one's a wrap. I Hate Mondays are gonna pull off the upset here.
2-1. Just an excellent game from them. I was impressed. Obviously in the beginning we're like, okay, Impostors are definitely are more a solid team, but just these mid-game changes that I Hate Mondays made secured them this victory. And although they are not going to make the playoffs because they needed to win 2-0, they can play spoiler, as we mentioned, and well, they definitely bumped their stock for next season.
Yeah, definitely an impressive performance coming out from I Hate Mondays. Like we mentioned, they will unfortunately not be making playoffs as they needed to win 2-0 to get that in there, but they will get that win, bump themselves up to a 3-4 record. Not bad for that season in Invite. And they will be coming into next season strong. And we do have to talk more about the playoff scenarios because Order the White Lotus and Krusty Krab Esports is still going on. If Order the White Lotus can pull off that 2-1 upset, we do know that Krusty Krab equalized. They're now tied 1-1. If Order the White Lotus can win this last round, they will be knocking the Impostors out of playoffs.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot on the line here. It's not a I mean, we kind of talked a little bit before this that we didn't expect Owl to win. I mean, look, we didn't even expect them to take a round. I do still think that we'll see Krusty Krab take this other round, but Imposters are definitely going to be glued to whoever's streaming it. They're going to be glued to that person's POV and just praying, so they can get that last spot. I think I saw Syaf drop 28 in one half. Whenever, like, half of a half against Owl. So really kind of turning it on. But I mean, this was an excellent match. I think it delivered on everything that we were hoping for. Commiserations, to Impostors. They're not out of the running, as we mentioned, and just keep everything crossed if you're friends with any of the Impostors or if you're on the team. And really awesome job from I Hate Mondays. Hope to see the team in some form next season and Invite, because they're definitely a team to look out for.
Yep, definitely going forward. We can take a real quick look at the logs. Impressive performance from a lot of players on I Hate Mondays. RK had a bunch of those kill streaks. Charizard did well. Chalk was a beast, as we expected. Got a ton of kills, top frag the server. And really, I don't want to talk too much about the logs because that game was just a really good example of how to make good decisions on steal, especially after some bad ones went off. So good play from both teams. Really excited by that steal match. And like I mentioned, we have our eyes glued to that last match, Krusty Krab versus Order the White Lotus, to determine the final playoff seedings going into what season is this? I don't even know. We're pretty far into at this point, but yeah, it's going to be an important one there. We can wrap it up here shortly. We can host Kresnik because he is a player on Krusty Krab going to be streaming that one. So everyone can have their eyes glued on that, get that information live.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in. I already see a ton of players there. Well, we'll get that host going very shortly. I mean, we'll just do the wrap up. But I mean, is there any shout outs, anything else that you'd like to mention before we give that over to Kresnik? God himself.
I'm kind of dry into this, I haven't casted in a while. I guess I can shout out Krusty Krab and Order the White Lotus for still playing this. Shout out to all my boys. Shout out to Alto's team down in, Maine, playing their hearts out for a win. Hopefully they can get one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, same. Shout out to these teams for playing. You put on an awesome show. I know I saw a couple players in the chat, so really awesome job for you guys, by you guys, and of course for Dolphin behind the scenes pulling the strings with his flippers, and we appreciate him and everything he does. But that's all for us here this week. Join us for the playoffs starting next week. We're going to have some awesome matches. If you think this was awesome, just wait until you see the best teams of this season face off. But that's all we got for you tonight, and we'll hope to see you next time. Goodbye, I guess.